All right, come in, sit down. Careful with that chair. Actually, no, I'm the one who needs to be careful with the chair, not you. You sit down freely and without caution because you are presumably not currently nursing a muscle that I pulled last Tuesday, doing something so catastrophically undramatic that I am almost reluctant to tell you what it was, except that I am going to tell you what it was, because that is precisely what we do in here. We tell each other the real things, the unglamorous things, the things that happen to us when nobody is watching, and we have to decide whether to laugh or cry, and we usually end up doing both. And what happened was I sneezed. I simply sneezed. One single ordinary sneeze, not even a dramatic one. Not the kind that rattles the windows and startles the cat, just a regular Tuesday morning sneeze, the kind that arrives with no warning and exits just as quickly, except that this particular sneeze, took something with it on the way out, something in my left side, somewhere in the general region of my ribs, just lit up like a firework. And I stood there in my kitchen in my dressing gown, holding a cup of tea, making a noise that I cannot reproduce in polite company, a noise that was part gasp and part word and part pure outraged disbelief, because I have sneezed thousands of times in my life, tens of thousands of times. Sneezing is not a sport. Sneezing is not an extreme activity. Sneezing does not require a warm-up or protective equipment or a liability waiver. And yet there I was, standing in my kitchen at 8:15 in the morning, injured, genuinely injured, by my own face, by a completely involuntary biological reflex that my body has been performing since I was born. And I want you to understand the specific quality of the indignity involved here, because it matters to the story. It matters because this is not the indignity of a dramatic injury. This is not, I was training for a marathon and I pushed too hard. This is not, I was moving furniture and I overdid it. This is not even, I slept in an awkward position, which is at least something that sounds like it could happen to anyone. This is, I sneezed. I sneezed in my own kitchen while wearing a dressing gown and holding a cup of tea. And now I cannot fully rotate my torso, and I have to walk like I am very slowly approaching something I am suspicious of. And the first thing I did after the initial outraged noise was look around to make sure nobody had witnessed it. Just a pure instinctive check. Is anyone watching? Is anyone going to have seen this? And the kitchen was empty, just me and the injury and the tea. And I had a brief moment where I thought, maybe if nobody saw it, it doesn't fully count. Maybe I can just walk it off. Maybe if I just breathe carefully and move slowly, it'll sort itself out by lunchtime. And we never have to acknowledge that this happened. And reader, it did not sort itself out by lunchtime. It did not sort itself out by dinner. It did not sort itself out for 4.5 days. 4.5 days of breathing like I was trying not to disturb anyone. 4.5 days of getting in and out of the car like I was performing a very slow and deliberate piece of modern dance. 4.5 days of my husband asking if I was all right every time I made any noise, and me saying, I'm fine, in a voice that clearly communicated that I was not fine, but I would like to not discuss it further. And here's the part that I want to talk about. Here is the part underneath the comedy of the sneeze and the undignified shuffling around my own house, because the sneeze is funny. The sneeze is absolutely the comedic centerpiece of this whole episode, and I am aware of that. But the thing that I actually want to talk about is what happened around the sneeze, what happened on either side of it. because on the morning of the sneeze, I had a full day ahead of me, a genuinely full and demanding day. I had calls to make and things to sort, and a problem with a bill that needed resolving, which required being on hold for what turned out to be 43 minutes with a company whose hold music was a crime against humanity, and a thing I had promised to help my daughter with, and a grocery order to sort, and approximately 17 smaller tasks that live in that permanent low-level list in the back of every woman's mind, the list that never fully empties, the list that you make progress on and then look up and somehow it has refilled itself while you weren't watching. And a sneeze and a pulled muscle and 4.5 days of breathing carefully did not remove any of those things from the list. The list remained, the bills remained, the calls remained, the 43 minutes on hold remained, and were in fact slightly more painful than usual because I could not sit comfortably and had to sort of perch at an angle while the hold music played its terrible melody into my ear. And I did all of it. I did all of it injured. I did all of it while quietly managing a level of physical discomfort that nobody around me could see, which is, if you think about it, a remarkably accurate description of most of the things women over 50 are doing on any given day. We are managing things that nobody can see. We are carrying weight that doesn't show up in any visible way. We are handling the interior experience of aging in a body that has opinions and needs and increasingly specific requirements while simultaneously handling everything else. Everything external, everything that needs doing, everything that we promised and organized and held together, and nobody is giving us a medal for this. There is no ceremony. There is no public acknowledgement. There is just Tuesday. There is just the sneeze and the pain and the 43 minutes on hold and the getting through it anyway, because the alternative is not getting through it. And that has never really been our style. And I want to ask you about this. I want to ask you honestly, how many days are you having where you are managing something on the inside, something physical or emotional, or just the accumulated weight of everything, while continuing to function completely normally on the outside? How many days are you running on something that is not quite full, that is maybe 3/4 or half, or sometimes, honestly, just the fumes of what you had at the beginning of the week, and still showing up, still making the calls, still sorting the bills, still being the person that everyone expects you to be, because you have always been that person, and nobody has thought to ask whether that person needs a day off. And the thing about being competent, the thing about being the woman who handles things, is that your competence becomes a kind of invisibility cloak. The better you are at managing, the less anyone thinks to check whether you are all right, because you always seem all right, because you have made all right look so effortless for so long that everyone has simply accepted it as your natural state, and you have accepted it too. Partly, you have internalized this idea of yourself as the woman who copes, who handles it, who is fine, and that identity is not entirely wrong. You are strong. You have proven that repeatedly and at some considerable personal cost. But strength is not the same as invulnerability. Coping is not the same as thriving. Fine is not the same as actually, genuinely, deeply okay. And the sneeze, bless the sneeze, the ridiculous, undignified sneeze, taught me something that I apparently needed to be taught in the most unglamorous way possible. It taught me that my body has limits, actual physical limits, not theoretical limits that I acknowledge in the abstract and then ignore in practice, real limits, the kind that arrive without warning and impose themselves on your Tuesday, whether you planned for them or not. And when those limits arrive, when the sneeze happens or the back goes or the knee decides today is not the day, you have exactly two choices. You can fight it, you can push through and pretend and ignore and pay for it later in ways that are always more expensive than just acknowledging it in the first place. Or you can do the radical and quietly revolutionary thing of saying out loud, I am not at full capacity today. I pulled something sneezing. I need to move a little slower and ask for a little more grace and maybe let one or two things on the list wait until tomorrow. And I am telling you that second option, the honest one, the one that feels uncomfortably close to admitting weakness but is actually just admitting humanity, that option is available to you. It has always been available to you, and you are allowed to take it. And here's what I also want to say, because I do not want to leave you only with the tender version of this story. I want to give you the funny and the fierce as well, because I did pay the bills, I did make the calls, I did sit on hold for 43 minutes with my terrible posture and my pulled muscle and my deeply offended sense of dignity. And when the person finally answered, I was polite and clear, and I sorted the problem efficiently and professionally. And then I hung up and I said out loud to nobody in particular, I am an absolute machine. And I meant it, not in the way where you are pretending to be fine, but in the way where you have looked at what your day required of you and what your body was offering you. And the gap between those two things was considerable, and you crossed it anyway with grace, with humor, with the particular brand of stubborn resilience that women over 50 have in quantities that should honestly be studied, bottled, and distributed to the general public, because we are not diminished by our limits. We are not smaller for having them. We are whole human beings with bodies that are aging exactly as bodies are supposed to age, and spirits that have not got the memo and are carrying on regardless. And there is something genuinely magnificent about that. Something worth naming and celebrating and not just pushing past in silence. So the next time your body does something ridiculous, the next time the sneeze takes you out, or the knee lodges a formal complaint, or the back files a grievance over a sock, I want you to do two things. First, take a moment, just a moment, to acknowledge that you are a human being in a body, and that body deserves your compassion and your attention and at least an ice pack and some anti-inflammatories. And second, when you have handled everything that needed handling anyway, when you have made the calls and sorted the bills and kept all the promises despite the pulled muscle and the undignified Tuesday, I want you to say it out loud to yourself, in the kitchen, in your dressing gown, with your tea. I am an absolute machine, because lovely you are. You really genuinely are. And that deserves to be said. Now go put the kettle on carefully and take care of yourself today. Ladies, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to support our weekly chats. Thanks a bunch.